It's what I just said. It's at Wacko Bob, believe it or not. It's actually for the show page, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, I do have a Twitter show page, and
don't worry, Wacko Bob will get another remix specifically designed for his show to really stick it in your head, because you can't play the Most Attractive Band remix all the time. We're going to have Wacko Bob and the Coconut Creek Crew, and that'll come to the Wacko Bob Radio Network really soon. Wacko Bob and the Coconut Creek Crew. Oh,
yeah,
man.
there you go. And God, I remember when we were first talking about some of these things, and he was asking me about In Your Head and why In Your Head keeps having bad things to say about me, especially after it was well over a year that I had even dealt with them. And when I told them what the issues were, right away, the very first STD there ever was for In Your Head, and
yeah,
and it was a lot of fun doing that one. And oh man, it was. And I'm getting it up here right now. I listened to IYH Facts, or now it's called IYH Truth, and check this one out here. This was a little something for In Your Head that was done back in 2007.
Are you ready for the In Your Head experience? I'm Jonathan Clarke, and of course, we'd like to remind all of you to make sure that you have your spyware blocking programs running at all times during this live broadcast, because as we all know, InYourHeadOnline.com is full of Trojan horses, keyloggers, and spyware. And you're almost 100% guaranteed that you will receive a virus upon logging on to this website. Also, we'd like to remind all our listeners for the visually impaired to make sure you go to Internet Explorer and increase your text size by about 100, because we all know you can't read what's written on this website. InYourHeadOnline.com, brought to you by Trojan horses across the entire world. And we know that halfway through this program you're going to stop listening to us, because we're very ego-driven. And we like to talk about ourselves and put ourselves over the top. That's right. That's like what we like to do. And the majority of our guests are all women, simply because we're all virgins. That's right. The entire staff here on InYourHeadOnline.com are all virgins, and we've never had sex before. And we'd like to remind all of you that all of our women guests are paid in advance for coming on this show. That's right. Nothing free of charge here on InYourHeadOnline.com. That's right, indeed. We spent one day working on this website. No thought at all went into it, because everything on here was just put up for the hell of it. That's right. Our audio is also recorded in WMA format, one of the worst formats of all time, making sure that when you download an archive of our show, it takes up over half your hard drive. We'll be back right after this on InYourHeadOnline.com. And if we don't have a guest, which 99% of the time we will not, you can hear my voice ejaculating. That's right. We'll be back right after this with more of InYourHeadOnline.com.
Breaking news, In Your Head Online has a flash slideshow now. They've been uploaded on their website now to give you more frequent updates on their website now. They've actually gone from just posting traditional archives to having a flash slideshow. And they came in about 10 years ago. It's nice to know that In Your Head are finally keeping up with the times. Really updated, guys. One thing they don't deserve an award for, I don't know why they get so many awards, but one thing they don't deserve an award for is how out of date their website is. And what's funny about In Your Head is, usually a fan will follow In Your Head because they believe In Your Head is the #1 radio show out there when it comes to wrestling guests. But one thing that I've noticed about In Your Head is they have the same guest every, 2 or 3 weeks apart. And another thing about In Your Head is just In Your Head. I wasn't a fan that followed In Your Head. In Your Head added me originally back in the day. To this day, I don't know why In Your Head follows my radio show. I don't know, and I wish I had an answer for that. But the In Your Head Online community were the ones that originally started following me, and they were probably the ones that originally started following Bob, and originally started following who else, God knows who. But I think In Your Head are just desperate for fans, and I think what makes In Your Head so popular is that they're overrated. That's really what makes In Your Head popular as they are. They're overrated.
Well, they became the yes sir people for the IWC and the bookers that are in the IWC that were also dirt sheet writers who book a lot of these wrestlers. That really got them on the air. I mean, and of course, and you almost did an In Your Head on a former host of In Your Head, one of the former co-hosts who's not there anymore, Barbie, who I think did things from his did things from his little princess phone or however he did it. You know, he was
horrible.
He used to call himself the voice of the beautiful people, and all I could say was, oh wow. I said, Jonathan Clarke got to hear that, the voice of the beautiful people, the cult of personality. There was nothing special about this guy. I mean, you know, In Your Head, you know, and they still talk about me to this day. I remember letting that one we just played collect dust and everything, and I didn't talk about In Your Head or anything for a couple of years, and what they wanted to do more false accusations on me, like I was stalking them, like they were a victim.
Yeah, In Your Head are a bunch of pieces of shit. In Your Head, the name of the show should be In Your Ass. Have that stuff, man, is just, I think it's just ego-driven, really. In Your Head are just terrible. They're good with talking and things. Like, they really are good with talking and things. But when it comes to presentation of a show, they are the absolute heights of shit. In Your Ass, man, really. I wish somebody would make a website, inyourassonline.com, and start posting, like, negative reviews about In Your Head, because really, they are terrible. I don't want to hear 5 or 6 Sid Justice interviews within the period of 1 year. And that's really what it comes to. 5 or 6 Sid Justice interviews, 5 or 6 Scott Hall interviews, 5 or 6 Scott Norton interviews. Same thing over and over and over again with In Your Head. That's what I hate.
And here's a big thing. I've only had to interview Scott Hall once. I only had to interview, and the only time I booked Sid Justice or Sid Vicious to be on my show was when was the day he canceled. He pretty much decided to cancel, and this was how popular the dark match was. And In Your Head, if you're listening to this, there's a note to all of this. And Lisa, good thing you're here. Lisa, if I were you, I would get Swax on, because there's a Swax STD that's also going to be playing too. but the other thing was that right away when he canceled, who came on my show but D'Lo Brown? D'Lo Brown came on my show right away.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
refer to him as Shitlow Brown, really, because he was the most boring person who ever encountered in the wrestling industry. He never did anything entertaining. All he did was go up to the top rope and jump on someone. That's all he did. And he came out, you know, swaying his head from one side to the other. Any idiot can do that. You better recognize. You better recognize what's in your fucking ass.
Yeah, well, I'll say this where it all goes with In Your Head. And well, not so much In Your Head, but Casey Carnage.
Oh,
with Casey Carnage, I mean, you know, he was you know, and you know, I'll say this to Casey Carnage. He thought he ended the dark match.
He ended the dark match. He ended the relationship with his own mom 10 years ago when he moved out into a trailer. Oh man, he never ended the dark match, Bob.
Yeah, and
here's the thing.
And here's the big thing that a lot of people don't know. I had to cancel because I had gotten a promotion on my job, one of 2 promotions I would get. You know, I had to cancel I canceled 3 weeks of interviews. I had pretty much booked Stan Hansen, J.J. Dillon, and Shane Douglas, and I had to cancel all 3 interviews because of that promotion, and I pretty much was pretty much standing on going with my job at the time.
That's right.
So
yeah,
that's a lot of things right there.
J.J. Dillon was pretty good, but the thing about J.J. Dillon was just someone who just wanted a serious interview. That's what I didn't like about J.J. Dillon. J.J. Dillon was just somebody who you had to stay in context with, and you had to. And Sid was the same way. It was either a serious interview or you weren't getting the interview at all. And I really hate those people in the wrestling business who don't know how to have fun and don't know how to separate a character from their everyday personality. That pretty much sucks.
Yeah, I talked to J.J. Dillon, super nice guy. I told him when I reminded him of the interview, and then I wound up getting my promotions, and I also had gotten sick. And I had gotten sick like I did. I pretty much had to, for lack of a better word, pretty much cancel that show the same day. And long story short, with that one. Long story short, it had to hang on here, just trying to.
Michael Bob is talking to someone in the chat room who wants to wish me a happy birthday. Probably.
Yeah, I'm getting someone who's got an old friend who I'm hoping will get in there.
Oh my gosh. How many more people are going to wish me happy birthday before this is over?
Oh yeah.
Jonathan, can I ask you a question while he's doing that?
Yeah, you can ask me a question.
Go
ahead.
Your tweet handle, is it John J oh geez, I just had the page up and my computer just went ape crap.
What are you looking for, my Twitter?
Yeah.